Welcome back to AWE TV. I'm Mark Pizer, and with me is Nicolas Pezzarossa, Head of Sales with Joinpad. Nicolas, thanks for joining us.
Hi, Mark.
You guys are exhibiting here at AWE. What are you showing at your booth?
We're showing a platform that we have developed for companies in different fields, such as energy, oil and gas, or for example automotive supply, or in the IT sector, to support maintenance and logistics tasks. So it includes several functions such as object recognition, navigation functions, smart navigation functions, smart support functions, and we have a lot of additional functions, for example for the logistics field, where we have a barcode recognition integrated, but to support companies in these very complex processes of maintenance and logistics.
A big feature part of Joinpad is BrainPad. This is everything you've explained falls under BrainPad.
Exactly, it's an open platform. It's a modular platform where we have some basic components that we always include in the different solutions that we then supply to the customers. Also, a work order logic is typically included with a cloud-based CMS system where the customer can himself put in assets, put in work orders, but the infrastructure is quite complex depending on the customer's needs, because they often need a specific API to exchange data from their ERP system to our system. So we specifically design these based on these modular platforms of BrainPad.
You know, customers are the same. They can pick and choose. I want this size. I want to add a few more features, and it can grow from there.
Exactly, and the requirements are quite different from industry to industry.
Sure.
So we always have to adapt to that.
What are some of your customers saying about what you provide? When you first walk in, is it easy to get the idea across? Do they, after a few months, are they asking for more? Are they happy with certain features? What kind of feedback do you get?
Yeah, quite surprising is that people notice quite quickly that we do software interfaces that are very intuitive. So what they appreciate is the fact that you have, for example, a very quick and easy overview of assets represented in a very, very simple and easy to use interface. So they notice that there is a benefit from having this simplified, to reduce mental workload, to improve the way that people interact with these devices. And they also notice quite quickly that using smart glasses is giving a huge advantage in many work situations. So these are the things that are quite evident. And then there are a lot of benefits that become evident when you look into the data, for example KPIs that the system can provide that help also improving your business.
You mentioned smart glasses. Will it also work with mobile devices, anything with a camera?
Yes, we're independent, so we actually use smart glasses where it makes sense, where people like to adopt them, and where they really supply a benefit because you leverage on augmented reality visualizations. But we're quite independent, and in many use cases it doesn't even make sense to necessarily start with smart glasses. Sometimes it's smarter to start with a tablet because the adoption is easier, but because also a lot of benefits that a tablet has. Also smaller mobile devices make sense in many contexts, but the smart glasses have still huge advantages.
And we're more familiar. Everyone's more familiar with a tablet, a smartphone. That's a screen that they understand how to use.
Exactly. And then you know it as consumers, so the adoption is very easy for most of people.
Sure. So this is your first time at AWE?
Yes.
Okay. Well, what's your feedback about AWE?
We're extremely happy. We have gotten a huge interest.
Yeah.
We have seen that we had a lot of people coming to our booth from really different industries. We have been able to do a lot of networking, and we have particularly appreciated that people would start using our SDK that we have launched. This is actually an initiative that we have done specifically to help adoption of augmented reality in the industrial sector. So we opened our box for everybody. We have this publicly available SDK that makes it really easy to develop applications, and particularly for now on the Moverio apps.
On the Moverio frames. You mentioned innovation, AR adoption. What do you see happening with AR and everything here at AWE next 12 months? What's your prediction?
Well, coming from the past, we have seen, and we work since many years in augmented reality, that it was much more a theme for nerds, and it's started to be mainstream, so it has been starting to have a huge interest. And finally, it has also started to be interesting for industrial applications. So that is a huge development over the last 5 years. Now, in particular, in the last year, we have seen that companies have started to be concretely interested, willing to try out pilots, willing to implement it into specific use cases, and that is, I think, a huge step forward. And so the industrial applications have started to be much more realistic.
Okay. Give me an example of a use case that one of your customers is using Joinpad, BrainPad for.
Yeah, and a good example maybe is a customer of ours in the energy sector, which is Siemens in Europe, that has used our platform for supporting maintenance personnel on a high voltage plant, where people would get a panorama view of all the assets that are around them on the plant, and then they see in a color coding very easily what is the status of each single asset, and then they can intervene and can check or make, for example, remote calls to the sensor situation.
I hope your prediction is right. More adoption, we'll see more people jumping in, more nerds involved. This is the show for the nerds.
It was, and it's much less.
Yeah.
But we really also see that it will depend a lot on the new generation of devices that help industrial use cases.
Sure.
And it will increase a lot on how companies will use it in the future. So from our perspective, the future is that it's quite inevitable to use this kind of augmented reality platforms in the industrial field.
Yeah, I think you're right. We're on the cusp, and we're kind of seeing that future coming alive here at AWE. Nicolas,
Mark,
thank you so much. Welcome, and thanks for joining us at AWE TV. I'm Mark Kaiser, and joining me was Nicolas with Joinpad. Thanks.